So I'm welcoming Lee. So I know Lee as LeeMc147, but we might get to know Lee a bit more about that. And welcome, really. This is episode 2 for anybody coming in and listening or watching this. It's episode 2 of my comically named Talking Balls podcast. And it's an accompaniment to the Snooker19 PlayStation League. And it's something that I want to encourage more people to get involved in if you'd like to. So I'm welcoming Lee in, and Lee, people will know you from obviously being in the league, and you're in the Premier League, and you're getting to cup finals. You're always high up on the centuries board, and you've got quite a profile. But just tell us a little bit, if you would, Lee, just about how you got into this game in particular. Why did you join the league? Just tell us a bit about that background, if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, sure. I think when I'm a snooker guy anyway, so when the game was coming out, I was always going to buy it, and it was the same with the golf games. I was always going to buy them. So I'm not quite sure how I fell into the league, but I think it was just through the game somehow. I'm a bit of a technophobe, so I must have stumbled across it some way. But it's been the best thing I've done in the last year and a half.
Oh, fantastic. And that seems to chime. I think a few people have said in different chats that, especially with the pandemic and the lockdown, I know there's been some people saying that they've not worked, they've been on furlough, and this is something they've been able to still do when they almost can't get out of the house, and it gives them something to keep them. I mean, you can wind away hours, can't you, doing this?
Well, yeah, you can, and I have. And I'm actually a bit gutted that the furlough's over, because I was getting a lot of my games played during the day.
Yeah.
Now it's at night.
yeah. It definitely changes things up.
Yeah, but it's certainly been a godsend over the last year and a bit with COVID, and I play a lot of snooker, in real life, and you miss the competitive edge to that. Yeah. And you miss just playing a human being. And I know it's a game, but you still get the buzz and the thrill from playing these games.
Yeah, definitely. It's real competition, isn't it? So I suppose it's that difference between playing on career mode, which is purely AI opponent. It's really a bit soulless in a way, isn't it? I mean, it's fine for practice, but you're actually competing with real people who want to beat you, and you want to beat them. And I don't know about you, but I mean, certainly when we had the stream game on the weekend, I actually really felt quite nervous, and felt myself kind of seizing up at times when I was going for things, and the accuracy wasn't there, because you actually felt like, you really wanted to perform.
Yeah, that basically playing, what you're talking about there is the equivalent of a twitch.
Yeah.
In real snooker, that is the equivalent of a twitch. And I've done it myself. I started off thinking it's only a game. We'll see how it goes, and you're hitting that power bar every time. But when you get more into it, you played for a few months or whatever, you start missing that power bar, and that's pressure.
Yeah. It's funny. It's real, isn't it? It's not made up. It's actually real. It really is proper pressure. It's funny. And in terms of the game attack, so I asked Mike about this earlier, and he kind of seemed to fall into his no guts game attack, but I'll let people check out his podcast. Your one's LeeMc147, and it might be obvious where that's from, but I did wonder if you and PhilMac147 were twins, but I don't think you are you?
Well, I asked the same question when I seen Phil's name, but turns out no, we're not.
How many
but listen, Phil's a great guy. Sorry, Mike.
No.
Phil's a great guy. He's a great guy, and that's the thing about the league as well. It's a community, and everybody's came together.
Yeah.
And in the last year and a half, I feel like I've got another 50 friends.
Yeah.
So 49 more friends than what I had.
Yeah. It's something in common, isn't it? And again, that's the point of doing this, really. So this will make you obviously more kind of not approachable. That's the wrong way of putting it, but obviously people will identify with you in a different way just from seeing you on this, really.
And I think that's important.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think, yeah, I think for me that's what's exciting. You know, I like meeting people, and I meet people in my job every day. But this is a different, it's a departure. But and actually, some people have said they don't particularly want to be on camera. So that's the other thing. We, you know, we'll always offer out if people would rather just have a chat but not be on the camera. Yeah, we could do that as well, and people can listen to it if they want to.
Yeah,
but I'm grateful that you'll do this.
Yeah, you know, I was pretty much the same though, Michael. I thought, yeah, do I want to put my face on this camera? And and I thought, oh, and then I thought, for what the guys have done in the league, I thought it's a small price to pay. And you know, if it gets a little bit of connection with the rest of the players in the community, then yeah, go for it.
Yeah, superb. No, hats off to you for doing it, and I think it will do that. And we'll obviously, you know, we'll put it out on the chat, and we'll no doubt get some comments. But yeah, thank you for doing it.
No problem.
You touched on a bit. You touched on about your real snooker. So obviously, you know that you've got the game, but you do play a fair bit of snooker, and that sounds like an understatement. But will you let us in a little bit on what you've been doing? I mean, you're not just kind of go down the ex-servicemen's club or the British Legion on a Sunday with some mild, are you? You're actually a lot better than that.
Yeah, well, you know, I've played since I was maybe 8 years old, full-size tables since I was 13. And I've always loved the game. You know, I started watching it on television, and you know, progressed to playing national competitions.
Right.
So 2017, I was Masters champion and Masters #1 in the rankings.
Wow.
And 2017, now Masters is 40 plus.
Right.
You know, and I went on to play in European Championships.
Yeah.
And really, it's been a blast. Wow. You know, as a snooker fan myself, you know, it's my life.
Yeah, yeah. So will that come back more? You know, once we're more, you know, coming away from the pandemic, being able to mix a bit more travel, is that going to come back in again more? Yeah,
absolutely. You know, in the Scottish scene, you know, the amateur scene, we're playing the Masters. The pandemic kicked in, and we couldn't play last tournament. So, you know, once everything's back to normal, we'll get back to it, and it'll be a new season. And then obviously European Championships and stuff will kick off again, and hopefully the ball will start rolling. Yeah, get that.
I suppose there's a risk of rustiness, but I guess you're all in the same boat, to be honest. And I guess you'll be able to practice as well, won't you? Get a bit more practicing when you need to.
Yeah, well, it's funny you say that, because actually tonight is the first night I'm going to the club.
Oh, okay.
The club opens tonight, so this is my first game of snooker in a year.
Wow.
So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. I think I know the answer to this, but I'm going to put it out there and just see what you come up with. And actually, it'd be interesting to people watching. Anybody notable that you've either played against or you've met through, you know, your snooker career?
Yeah, obviously I played Henry.
So you say that, obviously I played Henry.
Twice.
We have on computers.
Yeah. You know what, with the game,
reality.
Yeah, but with the game I was absolutely gutted that you could not choose Henry.
Yeah, that would be good.
You know, if they bring out a new game, then surely, because Henry's back in the tour, you'll be able to pick him as your player.
Yeah.
The thumbs up. So played Henry, Dennis Taylor, like say Mike Dunn, the professional, a lot of sort of lower rank professionals, and stuff, but you know, exhibitions.
Yeah. What do you make of them? I mean, do you get a feel for what they're like as people, and you know, do you hear much about the scene in terms of the people we maybe see on TV but don't know as much? Yeah,
do you know, Henry was pretty much aloof.
Really?
Yeah, and I was a bit gutted with that, because I'm a huge Stephen Hendry fan.
Yeah.
And Hendry was always my hero since he started being pro, and then I got the chance to play him, and I played pretty well against him. And then after the match, he was like, so do you play a bit? And, you know, I just felt he could have went a wee bit further.
Yeah, yeah.
And you remember Chris Small?
Vaguely, yeah. I've missed a bit of a period of snooker really, from the like late 80s into the early 90s, and then it's weird, but this game has got me back into catching up now. But there's a whole period where I haven't really followed it as much, if I'm honest. But other people will know.
Well, Chris Small back in the early 2000s won the LG Cup.
Okay.
And he had to retire because of his back. Oh. And he was using magnets to try and solve his back problems.
Whoa.
But ultimately he had to retire. So they had a testimonial for Chris Small, and all the big names were there. Henry Higgins, Dennis Taylor, Willie Thorne. And we were at another table because we paid for a ticket, obviously.
Yeah.
And we were at another table. And I says, I've got to go up to Stephen. I'd already played him by this time.
Right.
And I said to him, I says, do you remember the game we played? Sorry, I don't remember the games I play and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But the guy next to him says, well, he should, because he beat you by about 115 points. And it was the guy that was comparing on that night, who is a guy that writes for the Mirror. One of the papers, but he says, well, he should. So
maybe
I've seen him a few times, but he never remembers.
No.
I suppose he plays that many exhibitions.
Yeah, they say, don't they, about meeting your heroes, but I guess it's better to kind of meet them and get that feel for who they really are, and be there close and not just see them from a distance. It's quite interesting to get that close, isn't it?
I mean, don't get me wrong, he was a perfect gentleman.
Right.
But he was, I don't know, it seems in his Instagrams now and stuff like that he's so down to earth.
Yeah.
And I suppose when I met him, he was sort of still on the tour, he was still a winner.
Right.
But, you know, he was a perfect gentleman.
Yeah. Yeah, he comes across quite relaxed, doesn't he, now? Because I do the Audible thing with the audiobooks, and I listened to his book earlier in the year, well, the end of last year, and he came across then, I think, as being, well, you could see how intense he was and how competitive, and how almost, if anything didn't go for him, he'd almost lock himself away and find that really hard to deal with. What about you? How do you deal with, you know, I'm sure that you've got your own ways. I mean, are you a good, there's not such thing as a good loser, but what's your temperament like in terms of in the real snooker before we go back to the game again?
Well, just to pick up on what you were saying, I'm a terrible loser.
Oh, right.
I'm a terrible loser. I suppose that's what makes you a good winner. You know, but you know, I don't like losing, you know, in real snooker or this game. You know, I don't like losing. But you know, I project very much it's not bothering my vibe.
Right.
When inside I'm dying.
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that.
Yeah, don't give anything away.
Aye, exactly. Because I think if you're playing somebody and they're picking up and all of that, then you're probably half beaten.
Yeah. They might start taking liberties a bit, mightn't they? Open up a bit, thinking you're half beat.
Exactly.
And how does it compare then? So obviously, you know, this is a game that we're talking about, but as opposed to really doing it. But are there many things you can take across from your experience as a player and as a good player at a good standard into a game? Obviously, there's things about angles, there's things about, I mean, whether you feel the balls react in the similar way that you'd expect them to for real. I mean, how do you feel about the reality of it, and how your own experience helps you in the game?
Oh, huge. Absolutely huge. You know, I'm looking at the table on the screen, and I know what shot to play. Obviously, it's just executing that shot, and obviously the game's, it's a bit, you know, it's you play different shots because you can't just play your white back to balk if you're playing a safety shot.
Right.
So, you know, because you might leave a pot on, sometimes you've got to roll up. Because they will pot a long ball if you leave them on. Yeah. But certainly with the tactics of the game, I find that, you know, my experience with playing snooker has helped me in this game. Right. Definitely. definitely.
Do you think you have a similar style? I mean, I've noticed from some of the players, and the more I watch the top players or come across them on a one frame thing online, you realise just how aggressive many of them are, and it's almost you leave anything remotely, even on the break, and you're dead a lot of the time. Which maybe that happens more in real life, but it feels like it's more often. It seems to happen like that. But is your style similar to your normal style outside of the game?
No, I'm more aggressive in the game,
right?
Rather than real life, But at the same time, playing those safety shots in real life, you would open the pack up and play it right back to bulk.
Yeah.
But in this game, you keep the pack tight.
Yeah.
Because you leave a ball out, you're dead.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
All the guys down the leagues, they're all great players. They can make century breaks and stuff in the game, and you leave them a ball, and it's probably game over.
Yeah, yeah, it's quite scary. I guess the higher you get. I mean, I've already just started, so I'm in League 3, but there's some good guys who clearly shouldn't be in League 3 who are in there who are too good for that. But that's fine, and you learn against them. I mean, for me, I'm probably a bit more cautious, and I've been told that I'm a percentages player, and I probably am because I haven't got yet to the experience level of being able to be confident about breaking the reds up and moving around them, and often I'm leaving the pack untouched, and then I'm picking them off with 30s and 40s, and occasionally then I'm seizing on a mistake and getting a bigger one. But I think that'll come and open up more with just more confidence with it. But you must find in your level, or you must find in your level where you must have very quick frames as well, where you're almost I've just left that there, he's got it, I'm gone, 10 minutes, we've had the frame. You must get
that. Yeah. Do you know what? If you're playing like guys like Mace, Chef, that I'm playing Mace Friday night. You play guys like those, you leave them on, you go and make a coffee, come back, and you hope to finish the frame just so you can get on with the next frame. It's that brutal in the Premier League. These guys are brilliant. If you leave them a shot, it's game over. And it teaches you to be the same way, have the same mindset. It's tough. It really is tough.
Yeah. So I guess it would be interesting. I mean, you said about your current season, and obviously on Friday, is that the Masters final? Is it? You've got a final on coming up, haven't you?
Yeah, Masters final against Mace.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's Friday night. I think Michael has said it's Friday night. Just looking for confirmation for that, but it's going to be a tough game.
Yeah, it could go either way, I guess, couldn't it? I suppose. Are you feeling confident? I guess it's hard to know, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I always feel confident. I feel that if I get my chance, then I can finish a frame.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of pressure on not to leave Mace on.
Yeah.
Because he will finish a frame.
Right.
It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
It's basically 50-50. Whoever gets the chance will probably win the frame.
Yeah, it's almost like a shootout in a way, isn't it?
Yeah.
Less of a lot of strategic kind of 20 minutes just moving around the table, and more one false move and you're toast.
That's right. The only thing I can hope for, if Mace gets in and leaves the selling angle on the black to split the pack, that red goes in when he splits the pack. That's the only thing I can hope for. Because if he splits the pack and gets on the red, it's game over.
Right. Yeah. A lot of people do that, don't they? Straight off the bottom in the black and the straight in the pack. There's no mucking about.
As soon as you can get that pack open.
Yeah, no, it's cool. It's good to see actually where you need to get to play any higher, really. And obviously the higher you get, the more merciless the opponents are. So that'll tighten your game up.
Yeah, absolutely.
And in terms of where you see the future of the game, I mean, it sounds like you welcome what's going on at the moment, where they're obviously starting to do some almost live streaming and commentating on finals, and the YouTube videos. There's obviously looking to make it much more sticky and inclusive, really, for either existing players, but also for new people looking in, going, well, that sounds interesting, and seeing this whole website with stats and data and content. I mean, it's getting bigger and bigger, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, I'm a stats man. I love looking through stats and stuff. So, you know, as I said before, and I've messaged the guys, what they're doing is second to none. You know, they put a lot of time and effort in it, and I would love to use this video as a way to say thanks to them, you know, for what they do, and thanks to all the players that play, because without the players, obviously, you've got no games. But you know, the time and effort they put in it is second to none, and they deserve to be, you know, lauded for that.
Yeah, yeah, quite agree, and that's inspired these conversations. So, yeah, you almost just want to compliment it and just keep that interest going. So it's.
Do you know, when I see the messages, when I see some of the messages on WhatsApp, and I see guys being a bit disrespectful, I feel that I've got to put a message in to say, look, guys, you're doing a great job.
Yeah.
Keep it up, because they need more good messages than bad messages. And I, for one, really appreciate what they're doing.
Yeah.
You know, and it's been a lifeline to me for the last year and a bit. And I'm sure it has. I should speak for everybody.
Yeah.
You know, during lockdown.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I've heard just informally on some of the WhatsApps people saying stuff like that, just how they've almost, that's, as you say, it's a lifeline. And there's some really interesting stories. I mean, I'm hoping that's where this will go, and you being on here will encourage other people to come forward and say, I'll have a chat with you, no problem, because there's some really interesting things. Yeah. I'm going to go into we're kind of into the final, you know, we're almost on the pink now, really. So if I go into a quick fire, just a bit of I'm giving you two choices, your preference. And it might be the answer is no, but I'll let you see. It's it's a standard set of questions. So my first one is Star Wars or Star Trek?
Ooh,
or neither. Star Trek.
Well, I didn't know neither was on the cards. I'll say neither.
If you had to go at Star Trek, but actually not too bothered.
Okay, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, this is maybe about style as opposed to ability or whatever, but Thorburn or Alex Higgins?
Thorburn. I was never a fan of Alex Higgins.
Right.
Only because he was rude.
Right. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Thorburn, he was my favourite player until Stephen Hendry came along.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
It's class, isn't it?
Definitely Thorburn.
Oh, okay, good answer. Yeah, I'm interested in that.
I'm not a hellraiser.
No, the man can play, but yeah, it's very different personality, isn't it?
Yeah.
Cat or dog? Simple one, really. That one.
Oh, it's cat.
Cat. You got some cats?
Yeah. I've got two.
Okay. What are the names?
Well, it's funny. Magnum and Blue Steel.
Okay.
Zoolander.
Yeah. Oh, very good. Yeah. Do they wear like the big outfits? Do they?
Yeah. Still looking for the third cat, so we can call him La Tigra.
Brilliant. Oh, I look forward to that. New York or New Zealand?
Never been to either, but I would say New York.
Okay. City be country in a way, that one. And finally, fish and chips or posh meal out?
Posh meal out, because I don't like fish.
Oh, okay.
Unless it's tuna in a tin. So I would have to say posh meal out so I could pick.
Yeah, no, fair point. Well, great, so I mean, that's kind of wrapping it up, really. I just wanted to be able to, find out for myself a bit more, but really it's for everyone in the group and in the chat to get to know more about one of the colleagues, and also really interesting to hear more about the real snooker and your exploits at that level. And I'm not sure how many of us in the group have played people like Stephen Hendry or played at the level you have, so it's really fascinating to know more about that. And what we'll do is, as I said, we're going to invite anybody who wants to come forward, just have a chat, fairly informal, quite light, and we'll do it as much as people want to do it, and just put it out there and see how it goes. So any last words, really, Lee, before we go?
Well, you know, I touched on it earlier on. I just want to thank the powers that be for, you know, what they've done. Certainly for me in the last year and a half. You know, I'm a snooker guy. I love playing with snooker. I've not been able to play the snooker. This game has given me a chance to feel what it would be like to play snooker. And I've got to say that the community that we're involved in, we've got the crap out, and everybody is absolutely fantastic. They're polite, they're lovely, and it's a pleasure to play everybody, you know. And I just want to thank you all for being here for me in the last year and a bit.
Brilliant.
And long may it continue.
Quite agree. No, thank you. Yeah, that's brilliant. That's a good message. And yeah, hopefully, you know, more people and engage and keep that community feel going, because it sounds like it does a lot for people, you know? Yeah,
absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. Thanks a lot then, Lee. And take care. Best of luck on Friday.
Thanks very much, Michael. It's been a pleasure to speak to you.
And you.
Take care.